Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for our evening English Krishna book reading. So today we are beginning a new chapter in Krishna book, chapter number 65, entitled Lord Balaram visits Vrindavan. So previously we have read that Krishna, first of all, after leaving Vrindavan and coming to Mathura, he was worried about the Vrindavan Vasis, Brijavasis, Gopis, Gopas, his parents, and all his friends and relatives in Vrindavan Dham. So to pacify all of them, Krishna sent Uddhavji. Again, after a few days, Uddhavji came back and Uddhavji told everything how the Vrindavan Vasis are passing their days in separation from Krishna, in Parakiya Bhav, love in separation. And again, after a few months, Krishna wanted to send someone so that the the Brijavasis, the Vrindavan Vasis, the Gopis, and everyone can get assurance that Krishna will come back very soon. So this time, Krishna sends Balramji. Balramji visits Vrindavan Dham. So we'll discuss in this chapter what happens when Balramji visits Vrindavan. So it's a very uh, deep chapter with lot of lessons to be learned. Um, we'll try to cover as much as possible, and we'll stick to the purport of Prabhupada, what Prabhupada is telling. In accordance, we'll try to discuss some of the principles wherever it is possible for us. Yes. So I will read one paragraph and then devotees can read one paragraph each. Lord Balaram became very anxious to see his father and mother, Mahārāja Nanda and Yaśodā. Therefore, he started for Vrindavan on a chariot with great enthusiasm. The inhabitants of Vrindavan had been anxious to see Krishna and Balaram for a very long time. When Lord Balaram returned to Vrindavan, all the cowherd boys and gopis had grown up. But still, on his arrival, they all embraced him, and Balaram embraced them in reciprocation. After this, he came before Mahārāja Nanda and Yaśodā and offered his respectful obeisances unto them. In response, Mother Yaśodā and Nanda Maharaj offered their blessings unto him. They addressed him as Jagadīśvara, or the Lord of the universe who maintains everyone. The reason for this was that both Krishna and Balaram maintain all living entities, and yet Nanda and Yaśodā were put into such difficulties on account of their absence. Feeling like this, they embraced Balaram and setting him on their laps began their perpetual crying, wetting Balaram with their tears. Lord Balaram then offered his respectful obeisances to elderly cowherd men and accepted the obeisances of younger cowherd men. Thus, according to their different ages and relationships, Lord Balaram exchanged feelings of friendship with them. He shook hands with those who were his equals in age and friendship, and with loud laughing embraced each one of them. So here it's mentioned how they welcomed Balramji in Vrindavan Dham. See, when we read Krishna entering Dwarka, we read so much opulences of Dwarka Dham, right? The streets are decorated with water pots, and there are flowers, there are flags, festoons everywhere, there are colors sprinkled everywhere. But why? Because city is more into mode of passion, and there is lot of awe and reverence. But Vrindavan Dham is the city of sweetness, and there is more love and reciprocation. So that's how here you will not find them decorating the roads and streets of Vrindavan with um, with flags and festoons, or or they are putting uh, flavored waters or they are putting stalls everywhere and organizing mela. Nothing. Simple. Because there is more intimate love and reciprocation, sweetness. It's a Madhurya Dham. And Dwarika, Hastinapur, these are all Aishwarya Dham. They fall under Vaikuntha Jagat. And Vrindavan, Gokul, Nandagaon, they fall under Golok Vrindavan, Madhuri Jagat, Madhuri Dham. So there is a difference in the mood. There is more love, loving reciprocation. That's why you see they embraced each other and they laughed with each other. They shook hands with each other. In Vaikuntha, nobody will dare to anytime go and climb upon Krishna's back or joke with Krishna, fight with Krishna, right? Only in Vrindavan Dham, all these pastimes are possible. So Lord Balaram exchanged feelings of friendship with them in Sakhyaras because in Vaikuntha or in places like Dwarika and Hastinapur, all these places, Mathura, there is more of Dasyaras between Lord and the devotee. In Vrindavan, Gokul, there is more of Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya with without any tinge of awe and reverence. So that's what we are trying to discuss here. Yes. Please go ahead. Um, Prashant Prabhu can read next paragraph. After Prashant Prabhu, Dhruv Prabhu can be ready.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. After being received by the cowherd men and boys, the gopis, and King Nanda and Yaśodā, Lord Balaram sat down. Sa- Lord Balaram,
Your voice is not coming. Can you try once again?
now Prabhu is coming. Are you? Lord Balaram sat down, feeling satisfied, and
Okay.
they
Dhruv
also.
Prabhu, can you read?
Roji, actually, his voice is coming.
Am I audible? No. Hare Krishna.
Oh, Dhruv Prabhu's voice is also not coming. What is happening? Aditya Prabhu, we have two Aditya Prabhus, Aditya Madane and
Hare
Aditya Yadav
Krishna.
Prabhu. Aditya Madane Prabhu, can you try unmute and speak?
Okay, bro. Can I start reading?
Okay, let me check my connection. Maybe
I think.
yes, now I can hear. But were you able to hear me? I was speaking for last 5-10 minutes.
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you, but I think you can't hear us.
Now I can hear you. You can continue. Yeah, please
Yes,
go ahead.
yes. After being received by the cowherd, men and boys, the gopis, and King Nand and Yaśodā, Lord Balaram sat down, feeling satisfied, and they all surrounded him. First, Lord Balaram inquired from them about their welfare, and then, not having seen him for such a long time, they began to ask him different questions. The inhabitants of Vrindavan had sacrificed everything for Krishna, simply being captivated by the lotus eyes of the Lord. Because of their great desire to love Krishna, they never desired anything like elevation to the heavenly planets or merging into the effulgence of Brahman to become one with the absolute truth. They were.
So here it is mentioned. Before we go ahead, we'll discuss few things. The inhabitants of Vrindavan sacrificed everything for Krishna, simply being captivated by the Lord's lotus eyes. Because of their great desire to love Krishna, they never desired anything like elevation to heavenly planets or merging into effulgence of Brahman to become one with Absolute. Yes. So they were pure devotees, pure, unalloyed devotees of Krishna. So they knew only Krishna, and Krishna knew only gopis of Vrindavan and Brijvasis of Vrindavan Dham. So here it is mentioned that Lord Balaram came and met with cowherd men, boys, gopis. Especially, he was more worried and concerned about the Brijvasis, especially gopis, who are Krishna's pure, unalloyed devotees. And they had nothing to do with going to heavenly planets or merging into Brahman or becoming one with absolute truth. They only knew to love Krishna and how to accept love of Krishna. Yes. Read further. They were
They were even interested. They were not even interested in enjoying a life of opulence, but were satisfied in living a simple life in the village as cowherd men. They were always absorbed in thoughts of Krishna and did not desire any personal benefits. And they were all so much in love with him that in his absence, their voices flattered when they began to inquire from Balramji.
faltered, faltered. Their voices choked up.
Faltered.
Flatter, flattering मतलब मस्का लगाना, झूठ बोलना. Faltered. They could not speak up. Yeah. So same incident happened when Uddhavji came to Vrindavan. If you remember when we discussed in detail Uddhava's visit to Vrindavan Dham and how um, the Brijavasis were mortified when they understood that he is not Krishna, he is Krishna's cousin Uddhava. So similar love of exchange happened then also and now also. Yes. Dhruv Prabhu, please read next paragraph.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can continue.
First, Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda Mai inquired, "My dear Balaram, are our friends like Vasudev and other family are doing well? Now you and Krishna are grown-up married men with children in the happiness of family life. Do you sometime remember your poor father and mother, Nand Maharaj and Yasoda Devi? It is very good news that the most sinful king Kamsa has been killed by you, and that our friends like Vasudev and others who had been harassed by him have now been relieved. It is also very good news that both of you and Krishna defeated Jarasandha and Kalyavana, who now is dead, and that you are now living as fortified resident in Dwarka."
Yes, so Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, they are remembering the pastimes performed by Krishna Balaram in Mathura and Dwarika Dham. So one by one, how they come to know? Because Narad Muni is the spaceman. He travels everywhere and he keeps informing the Brijvasis. कृष्ण ने ऐसा किया कृष्ण ने ये किया कृष्ण ने वो किया so they keep getting the news from devotees like Narada and so many other devotees. So they are proud of Krishna that Krishna has done such wonderful feasts and he has become now Dwarikadhish, the king of Dwarika. So they are very proud of him and they are remembering how Krishna has delivered the world from all these demonic kings and leaders. Okay. Um, Aditya Madane Prabhu, please read next paragraph.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, go ahead.
When the gopis arrived, Lord Balram glanced over them with loving eyes. Being overjoyed, the gopis who had so long been mortified on account of Krishna's and Balarama's absence began to ask about the welfare of the two brothers. They specifically asked Balarama whether Krishna was enjoying his life surrounded by the enlightened woman of Dwarikapuri. Does he sometimes remember his father Nanda and his mother Yasoda and the other friends with whom he so intimately behaved while he was in Vrindavan? Does Krishna have any plans to come here to see his mother Yashoda? And does he remember us gopis who are now portably bereft of his company? Krishna might have forgotten us in the midst of the cultured women of Dwarika. But as far as we are concerned, we are still remembering him by collecting flowers and sewing them into garlands. When he does not come, however, we simply pass our time by crying. If only if only he would come here and accept these garlands that we have made. Dear Lord Balarāma, descendant of the Dashara, you know that we could give up everything for Krishna's friendship. Even in great distress, one cannot give up the connection of family members. But although it might but although it might be impossible for others, we gave up our fathers, mothers, sisters, and relatives without caring at all about our renunciation. Then all of a sudden, Krishna renounced us and went away. He broke off our intimate relationship without any serious consideration and left for a foreign country. But he was so clever and cunning that he manufactured very nice words. He said, "My dear gopis, please do not worry. The service that you have rendered me is impossible for me to repay. After all, we are women, so how could you we disbelieve him?" Now we can understand that his sweet words were simply for cheating us.
Yes, correct. So here it's mentioned that gopis are expressing their transcendental anger. So this is also a different level of love altogether. Transcendental lust, transcendental greed, transcendental anger, anything which is engaged in Krishna's service. Lust, anger, greed, pride also. What is the pride? That I am proud of being Krishna's servant. So pride also can be engaged in Krishna's service, except envy. एनवी छोड़ के सब कुछ आप भगवान की सेवा में लगा सकते हो. Illusion also you can engage. How you can engage illusion? That you forget that Krishna is my master and Krishna is the Lord of the universe. Just like Yashoda Mai, she gets uh, covered by the Yog Maya potency, Krishna's internal potency, and she forgets completely. अरे ये बच्चा ये साधारण बालक नहीं है, ये लोकाधिपति है, ये स्वराट है. तो इस तरह से भूल जाते हैं. So in this way, so everything can be engaged in Krishna service, provided we are in the right frame of mindset, right with right kind of attitude, Krishna consciousness. So uh, they are getting upset and telling bad words in transcendental way that Krishna has cheated us and went away to a foreign place, foreign land, and he has so many friends in Dwarka and Mathura, and all of us we left our family members, and Krishna is not caring for us. So like that, they are criticizing Krishna, and this criticism is also sign of their pure love for Krishna. We need to understand. Okay, next. Yes. Who has left the meeting? Aditya Prabhu is not there. Okay, then let me read for Aditya Prabhu. Another gopi, protesting Krishna's absence from Vrindavan, began to say, "My dear Balaramji, we are of course village girls. So Krishna could cheat us in that way. But what about the women of Dwarka? Don't think they are as foolish as we are. We village women might be misled by Krishna, but the women in city of Dwarka are very clever and intelligent. Therefore, I would be surprised if such city women could be misled by Krishna and could believe his words." Wow. So they are telling that हम तो मूर्ख है लेकिन जो शहर की लड़कियां है द्वारका की वो ये हमारे जैसे मूर्ख नहीं है और कृष्णा उनको बेवकूफ नहीं बना सकते ऐसा वो बोल रहे हैं. Then another gopi began to speak. My dear friend, she said, Krishna is very clever using words. No one can compete with him in that art. He can manufacture such colorful words and talk so sweetly that the heart of any woman would be misled. Besides that, he has perfected the art of smiling very attractively, and by seeing his smile, women become mad after him and would give themselves to him without any hesitation. So they are glorifying Krishna indirectly, right? Krishna is very clever, Krishna is very competent, Krishna is very sweet, Krishna is uh, Krishna's smile is very sweet, and Krishna is very attractive. तो ये सब कृष्णा का ग्लोरिफिकेशन ही है इनडायरेक्ट वे में. So this is indirect glorification of Krishna out of great love for Krishna. Yes. So Aditya Prabhu, welcome back. Can you please read these two paragraphs? From here you can read.
Another gopi, after hearing this, said, "My dear friends, what is the use of what is the use in talking about Krishna if you are at all interested in passing away time by talking? Let us talk on some subject other than him. If cruel Krishna can pass his time without us, why can't we pass it on without Krishna? Of course, Krishna is passing his days very happily without us, but the difference is that we cannot pass our days very happily without him." When the gopis were talking in this way, their feeling for Krishna became more and more intensified, and they were experiencing Krishna's smiling, Krishna's words of love, Krishna's attractive features, Krishna's characteristics, and Krishna's embraces. By the force of their ecstatic feelings, it appeared to them that Krishna was personally present and dancing before them. Because of their sweet remembrance of Krishna, they could not check their tears, and they began to cry without consideration.
Just speaking about Krishna, they got so much absorbed in thoughts of Krishna that they start experiencing Krishna's presence, Krishna's smile, Krishna's words, Krishna's attractive features, everything about Krishna. They became fully Krishna conscious. Krishnamay ban gaye wo log. Just thinking about Krishna and speaking about Krishna in this way. That is the love of pure devotees. Just by thinking and remembering Krishna, they get connected immediately in with Krishna in Krishna Lila. And when they realized, oh, Krishna is not there, they started crying. And without considering कोई हमें देख रहा है, हमारे बारे में क्या सोचेगा, they cried profusely. Okay, yeah. So last paragraph for today. Prashant bro, please read.
Lord Balaram could of course understand the ecstatic feelings of the gopis, and therefore he wanted to pacify them. He was expert in presenting an appeal, and thus treating the gopis very respectfully. He began to narrate the stories of Krishna so tactfully that the gopis became satisfied. In order to keep the gopis in Vrindavan satisfied, Lord Balram stayed there continuously for 2 months, namely the months of Chaitra, March, April, and Vaishak, April, May. For these 2 months he kept himself among the gopis, and he passed every night with them in the forest of Vrindavan in order to satisfy their desire of conjugal love. Thus Balram also enjoyed the rasa dance with the gopis during those 2 months. Since the season was springtime, the breeze on the bank of the Yamuna was blowing very mightily, carrying the aroma of different flowers, especially of the flowers known as kumudi. Moonlight filled the sky and spread everywhere, and thus the banks of the Yamuna appeared to be very bright and pleasing, and Lord Balram enjoyed the company of the gopis there. The demigod has Prabhuji are on mute.
Thank you. So here it is mentioned that the um, to pacify the gopis of Vrindavan Dham, Lord Balaram stayed for 2 months in Vrindavan in the month of Chaitra, that is March, April, and Vaishak, April, May. So these 2 months he spent with gopis and pacified them and performed and fulfilled their desire for conjugal love. We need to understand one more point very clearly. Prabhupada says in different places that um, Krishna had his own circle of gopis. Balaramji also had his own circle of gopis. So here, Balaramji spent 2 months enjoyed Rasu dance with gopis of his circle, of uh, his own concerts, and so in this way, and for Krishna's gopis, he's narrated the pastimes, wonderful pastimes of Krishna, Lord Krishna, and he treated them very respectfully, and he enjoyed the conjugal love, Madhuri Ras, with his own group of gopis. So this Prabhupada says in different places. So and and then the description of Vrindavan forest is mentioned, how it is so sweet and so aromatic with wonderful flowers blossoming in the moonlight night of Purnima, and the sky is filled with the cooling rays coming from the moon on the banks of the river Yamuna. And Yamuna also was shining bright. And Balramji enjoyed the company of the gopis on the banks of Yamuna in Vrindavan Dham. Okay, so tomorrow we'll continue this pastime. इधर लाइट चला गया है इसलिए मैं अभी मेरा सिर्फ आपको कुर्ता दिख रहा होगा बिकॉज